Think about a time when everything seemed to go wrong, a plan completely derailed, an important opportunity lost, or a personal challenge that knocked you completely off your feet. You might have asked yourself, why me? Why now? Is life just unfair? It feels like the universe is throwing obstacles in your way, making success seem, well, impossible. You might see others achieving their goals so easily and wonder why your path is so much harder, so full of unexpected bumps and detours. But what if these seemingly random acts of misfortune, these painful detours, what if they aren't random at all? What if they're not just roadblocks but carefully placed signposts pointing you towards something better? It's a strange thought, isn't it? How can something so disheartening actually be beneficial? What if the very setbacks you're struggling with right now are actually the stepping stones, the necessary experiences that are preparing you for your ultimate success? The Stoic philosopher Seneca, for example, held a powerful view on this very idea, suggesting that our greatest growth truly comes from our hardest moments. That feeling of being knocked down, that urge to just give up, it's a shared human experience. We all face moments when our plans crumble, when failure seems to stare us right in the face, and it's easy to feel defeated, to think that maybe you're just not meant for success. We often see successful people and imagine they had an easy ride, without ever realizing the hidden struggles they actually overcame. But what if this common feeling, this universal struggle with setbacks, is actually a crucial part of life's design? What if the path to success isn't a smooth, straight line, but a winding road filled with exactly these kinds of challenges? Today, we're going to dive deep into the timeless wisdom of Seneca, one of history's greatest thinkers, to uncover a surprising truth. We'll explore how those moments that feel like failure aren't just bad luck, but powerful opportunities for growth. You'll learn how to shift your perspective so that every challenge you face, big or small, transforms from a barrier into a building block. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the very things that try to break you are actually shaping you for something truly great. You'll see that your biggest struggles are not signs of weakness, but signs of strength in the making. To grasp Seneca's profound insight, we first need to understand a core idea from Stoic philosophy: the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. Think about it. So much of what happens to us in life is completely outside our direct influence. You can't control the weather, the economy, or what other people say or do. You can't control whether a job interview goes perfectly or if a business venture succeeds instantly. These are external events. But here's the crucial part. While you can't control these external events, you can control something absolutely vital. You control your response to them. You control your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, and your attitude. This might sound obvious, but we often forget it when we're caught in the emotional whirlwind of a setback. We spend so much energy worrying about things we can't change, instead of focusing on the one thing we can change, ourselves. Seneca, drawing from this core Stoic principle, tells us that misfortunes aren't inherently good or bad, they just are. What makes them good or bad is how we choose to interpret them and how we react. A missed promotion, a failed relationship, a financial loss. These feel devastating, right? And it's completely natural to feel that way initially. But Seneca would ask us to pause and consider. Is the event itself truly harmful? Or is it our interpretation of the event, our internal story about what it means, that causes our suffering? This takes us to Seneca's radical view on adversity. He didn't just see setbacks as things to be tolerated or endured. For Seneca, adversity was not just unavoidable, it was necessary. He believed that difficulties, challenges, and even outright misfortunes were essential for our development. They are, in his view, nature's way of strengthening us, testing us, and revealing our true potential. Imagine you're an athlete. How do you get stronger? Not by sitting on the couch, right? You get stronger by lifting weights, by running long distances, by pushing your body to its limits. Each intense workout, each aching muscle, each moment of pushing through discomfort, it's not a setback. No, it's the very process of becoming stronger. Seneca, he saw life in much the same way. He argued that just as fire tempers steel, well, adversity too, it tempers the soul. Without resistance, without challenges, our inner strength, our wisdom, and our resilience would remain untested and undeveloped. This is why Seneca famously said that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Think about that. Every time you face a challenge and don't give up, every time you're knocked down and choose to stand back up, you're not just surviving, you're actually growing. You're building a kind of inner muscle, one that makes you more capable of handling the next, possibly even bigger, challenge. So when something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" Seneca might encourage us to ask, "Why, not me?" Because if these challenges are essential for growth, well, then experiencing them isn't a sign of bad luck at all. It's actually an opportunity. It's an invitation to become tougher, wiser, and more truly ourselves. This might sound counterintuitive, especially when you're in the middle of a struggle. But this shift in perspective, that's the first stepping stone. Now, you might be thinking, that's great in theory, but how do I actually do this when I'm feeling overwhelmed? This brings us to another powerful Stoic practice that Seneca advocated, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Don't let the intimidating Latin phrase scare you. It simply means mentally preparing for potential difficulties before they happen. This isn't about being pessimistic or dwelling on negative thoughts. Quite the opposite. It's a proactive way to build mental resilience. Seneca understood that a lot of our suffering comes not from the event itself, but from the shock and surprise of it. When something unexpected and bad happens, it hits us harder because we weren't ready for it. Our minds go into a tailspin of what if, and this shouldn't be happening. By regularly taking a few moments to imagine potential setbacks, what if I lose my job? What if this project fails? What if a friendship ends? We begin to strip away their power to surprise and overwhelm us. You're not inviting disaster. You're simply acknowledging that life is unpredictable and things can go wrong. By doing this, you're training your mind to be less reactive and more thoughtful when challenges do arise. Consider this. Imagine you're about to give an important presentation. You've practiced, you feel ready. But what if your computer crashes? What if you forget a key point? Or what if someone in the audience asks a really difficult question you hadn't anticipated? By spending just a few minutes beforehand, imagining these specific potential setbacks, you can mentally prepare responses or even contingency plans. You might, say, save your presentation to a USB, have notes printed out, or think about how you'd honestly answer a tough question. If none of these things happen, great. But if one does, you're not caught completely off guard. You've already done some of that emotional and mental heavy lifting. As Seneca tells us, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming. This practice, it doesn't remove the difficulty, but it removes that added layer of panic and surprise, which, let's be honest, often makes the difficulty much, much worse. It makes setbacks feel less like a sudden fall and more like a planned descent, allowing you to land right on your feet. This leads us to a deeper understanding of what Seneca considered true harm. We often equate setbacks with harm. We'll say, oh, this failed project harmed my career, or that breakup really harmed my emotional well-being. But Seneca, he'd argue that external events, like losing a job or a relationship ending, they can't truly harm your character or your inner self. They can cause pain, yes, but pain is different from harm. True harm for Seneca comes from within. It's when you let external events corrupt your character. It's when you give in to fear, or anger, or despair. It's when you abandon your principles, act unjustly, or allow your mind to be enslaved by irrational desires. These are the things that truly harm you because they erode your virtue and your peace of mind. Think about a time you experienced a significant setback. Maybe you were unfairly criticized, or a trusted friend let you down. The pain was real, wasn't it? But did that event change who you are at your core? Did it force you to become dishonest, cowardly, or cruel? Likely not. In fact, if you responded with integrity, patience, and courage, well, that setback actually gave you an opportunity to demonstrate your good character, not diminish it. Seneca believed that no man is hurt but by himself. This means that the real damage isn't what happens to us, but how we internalize and react to it. If you lose all your money, well, that's a misfortune. But if you respond by becoming bitter, resentful, and giving up on life, that's the true harm. The loss of money didn't make you bitter, your internal reaction did. And this distinction, it's incredibly liberating, because it places the power back in your hands. It tells you that no matter what life throws at you, your inner fortress, your core self, it remains untouched unless you choose to open the gates to despair. So how do these ideas translate into actual growth and success? Seneca saw setbacks not just as tests, but as direct pathways to building what we now call resilience and character. He understood that our virtues, things like courage, patience, wisdom, and self-control, aren't abstract concepts. They are developed through practice, especially under pressure. Imagine a soft piece of clay. It's easy to mold, but also easy to break. Now, imagine that clay being fired in a kiln. It goes through intense heat, pressure, and transformation. When it comes out, it's still clay, but it's now hard, durable pottery. It can hold water, withstand bumps, and serve a purpose. Our lives are similar. The smooth, easy paths don't build strength. It's the heat of adversity, the pressure of challenges, that hardens our resolve and shapes our character. Seneca would argue that a person who has never faced a serious setback is actually at a disadvantage. They haven't had the chance to test their limits, to discover their inner fortitude. They might appear successful on the surface, but their character could be fragile, prone to crumbling at the first sign of real trouble. In contrast, someone who has faced repeated failures and struggles, but persevered, has built an inner strength that is truly invaluable. They have earned their resilience through hard-won experience. They know they can withstand pain, adapt, and keep going. This deep self-trust is a far more reliable foundation for long-term success than any amount of external good fortune. This takes us to the truly transformative power of setbacks, the gift of perspective and wisdom. When things are going well, it's easy to become complacent, to assume our current strategies are perfect, or that our understanding of the world is complete. Success, it can blind us. But setbacks, especially the painful ones, they have a way of forcing us to open our eyes. They make us question our assumptions, reevaluate our priorities, and often, they lead us to discover better ways of doing things. Think of a business owner whose first venture, it fails completely. It's devastating, right? But that failure, it forces them to analyze every single step they took. What went wrong? What did they overlook? And who did they trust too easily? The lessons learned from that failure, lessons about market research, financial planning, team management, resilience, they're often far more valuable than the immediate profits of a successful first attempt. Many highly successful entrepreneurs, they'll tell you that their greatest lessons came not from their wins, but from their most spectacular failures. Seneca observed this too. He saw that prosperity often spoils us, making us soft and arrogant. Adversity, however, it strips away the superficial and reveals what truly matters. It teaches us humility, prudence, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and of the world. It forces us to confront our weaknesses and to develop new strengths. This hard-won wisdom, that's what genuinely prepares us for greater success, because, you see, it's built on a realistic understanding of life's complexities, not just on fleeting good luck. So, how can we actively transform disappointment into determination, guided by Seneca's wisdom? It begins with a fundamental shift in how we approach our struggles. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, we can choose to be a student of them. When a setback occurs, the first step, as we discussed, is to acknowledge that it's an external event, not a personal attack on your worth. It's okay to feel the initial sting of disappointment, frustration, or sadness. That's human, but don't dwell there. Seneca urges us not to wallow in self-pity or endless complaints. Instead, after that initial moment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This question is a powerful pivot point. It shifts you from a passive receiver of misfortune to an active agent of growth. Did you lose a job? What skills might you need to develop? What networking strategies could you improve? Was a project derailed? What were the unforeseen variables? What could have been done differently, or what can be done better next time? Embrace the struggle as an essential part of the process. Seneca would tell us that virtue is not given, but acquired. You don't just wake up one day with profound resilience or unwavering courage. These qualities are forged in the fires of experience. So, when you're facing difficulty, remind yourself that this isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're growing. You're actively acquiring the very qualities that will make you truly successful and fulfilled. Focus on what can be done, not what cannot. It's easy to get stuck lamenting what's lost or what went wrong, but Seneca would encourage us to quickly pivot to action within our sphere of control. If a door closed, what new doors might now be visible? If a path ended, what new routes can you explore? This proactive mindset, rooted in the Stoic principle of focusing on what you control, is key to transforming setbacks into springboards. Consider the countless historical figures who exemplified this Senecan truth. Abraham Lincoln faced numerous political defeats, business failures, and personal tragedies before becoming one of America's most revered presidents. Each loss, each setback, deepened his character, sharpened his resolve, and refined his understanding of the challenges facing his nation. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, was a single mother living on welfare, receiving multiple rejections from publishers before her manuscript was finally accepted. These weren't just hurdles, they were experiences that likely shaped the depth and resilience evident in her storytelling. Even someone like Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," when inventing the light bulb. He didn't see setbacks, he saw iterations, steps in the process of discovery. These aren't just stories of exceptional people, they're illustrations of a universal principle. The path to significant achievement rarely, if ever, runs smooth. It's inevitably littered with what appear to be obstacles. But for those who adopt a Senecan mindset, these obstacles aren't deterrents. They're precisely what reveal new paths, build necessary skills, and forge the unshakable will required to reach higher levels of success. In our modern world, this perspective is more relevant than ever. Whether you're navigating a career change, recovering from a personal crisis, or simply trying to learn a new skill, setbacks are unavoidable. The project at work hits an unexpected snag, a new fitness routine proves harder than you thought, or a relationship encounters rough waters. It's in these moments that Seneca's wisdom offers a compass. It reminds you that the initial disappointment is natural, but your subsequent response, that's your power. Do you retreat, or do you reflect? Do you complain, or do you learn? Do you see an ending, or a new beginning? Each time you choose to learn, to adapt, to persevere, you're not just overcoming a challenge, you're actively building the very foundations of your future success. You're becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable with every stumble. You're internalizing the truth that enduring what you thought you couldn't is the ultimate proof of what you can achieve. So, the next time you face a significant challenge, just pause. Remember Seneca. Remember that this moment isn't happening to you but for you. It's an opportunity. It's a test. It's a chance to apply the very principles we've discussed today. It's a stepping stone disguised as a stumbling block. And by embracing it as such, you unlock a powerful secret, not just to achieving success, but to becoming the kind of person who's truly ready for it. The truth by Seneca is this: your biggest struggles are not signs of weakness, but signs of strength in the making. We started this journey wondering why setbacks feel so devastating, like unfair punishments thrown our way. We felt that sting, that frustration when our plans crumble, when failure seems to stare us right in the face. It's easy to feel like the universe is against you, making success seem impossible. But through the timeless wisdom of Seneca, we've taken a powerful trip, moving from feeling like victims to understanding we have immense power. We've seen that while we can't control external events, like the weather, other people's actions, or unexpected losses, we hold absolute control over something truly vital: our response. This isn't just a comforting thought, it's the solid ground from which true resilience is built. We've understood that adversity, those tough moments, aren't just things to be tolerated. Seneca taught us they are necessary. They're like a strict but wise teacher, pushing us to grow, shaping our character, just as fire hardens steel. Every stumble, every challenge, isn't a sign of bad luck. It's an opportunity to strengthen your mind, to build that inner muscle, preparing you for even greater things. We also explored the powerful practice of premeditatio malorum, that's mentally preparing for potential difficulties before they happen. This isn't about being negative, but about stripping setbacks of their power to shock and overwhelm us. By doing this, we learn to land on our feet, ready to adapt and respond, with calm instead of panic. And perhaps one of the most liberating ideas of all, we've learned Seneca's radical view that true harm doesn't come from external misfortunes, like a job loss or a breakup. True harm, he argued, comes from within, when we let fear, anger, or despair take over our minds and corrupt our character. This means your inner strength, your core self, remains untouched unless you choose to open the gates to despair. It places the power back squarely in your hands. You see, the path to success, it's almost never a smooth straight line. It's often a winding road, full of unexpected bumps, detours, and seemingly insurmountable obstacles. But now, these aren't just obstacles. They're actually the very things that push you to grow, the lessons that give you real wisdom. Every time you face a challenge and don't give up, every time you choose to learn instead of complain, to adapt instead of retreat, you're not just surviving. No, you're actively shaping yourself into a more resilient, more capable, more powerful version of who you're meant to be. Your struggles aren't a sign that you're broken or unlucky. They're powerful evidence that you're being tested, refined, and made ready for something truly extraordinary. They're proof of your inherent strength, just waiting to be fully realized. This isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending difficulties don't hurt. It's completely natural, to feel the sting of disappointment. But it's about recognizing that within that pain lies immense potential for growth. It's about choosing to see every challenge not as an ending, but as a crucial chapter in your ongoing story of becoming. It's about understanding that the very things that once felt like punishment are, in truth, the necessary experiences that are propelling you forward, step by step, toward your ultimate success. You're stronger than you think, more capable than you know, and your journey, with all its bumps and detours, is exactly what's preparing you for the greatness that awaits. So the next time life throws you a curveball, when a plan derails or an opportunity slips away, pause. Remember the timeless wisdom of Seneca, that you have the power to control your response. Instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What can this moment teach me? How can I use this to become stronger, wiser, more resilient?" Embrace the struggle, not as a burden, but as a process that's forging you into something stronger. Lean into the discomfort, for it's there, in the fire of adversity, that your true character is revealed and your greatest strengths are built. This isn't just philosophy for old books. It's a practical guide for your life, right now. It's a way to transform every disappointment into determination, every setback into a solid stepping stone. It's about living a life where you're not just a passenger, but the active architect of your own character and success. You're equipped, you're capable, and you have the power to turn even your darkest moments into your greatest triumphs. The truth by Seneca is clear. Your biggest struggles aren't signs of weakness, but signs of strength in the making. Now, I want to hear from you directly. We've talked a lot about the power of setbacks today. What's one specific challenge you faced recently? And how might looking at it through Seneca's lens change your approach, or even your feelings about it? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can all learn and grow together, supporting each other on this journey. And if you found real value in this deep dive into Seneca's profound insights, If you're ready to continue exploring timeless wisdom that helps you navigate the complexities of life and unlock your full potential, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our growing community of truth seekers and critical thinkers. We're just getting started on this journey of discovery, bringing you powerful ideas from history's greatest minds to empower your modern life. Don't miss out on the next conversation that could change your perspective and strengthen your resolve. Hit subscribe and let's keep building a stronger, wiser you together. Because here, we believe that understanding the past is the key to mastering your present and shaping your extraordinary future.